You know, traffic like this throughout the country, no matter where you live, just never eases up. But for the folks here in Little Rock, Arkansas, as things get better, it's about to stop simply because of something the state recently did. Arkansas halted bidding on $162 million in 61 planned road projects for this year. Projects that now lay idle because the federal highway fund is depleted and there is no congressional plan to reimburse the states for road and infrastructure work.
Well, they've always fixed it, so we're assuming they're going to fix it again, so we're going to keep on with business as usual.
Well, it's not really been a fix. It's been a kick the can, 32 times now?
Yeah, that's exactly right, just in the last few years.
Right.
And you can't continue to operate that way. And that's what we see is that, we need to protect our state revenue too. We need to protect the contracts that are already ongoing. One of the last things that we want to do is to be put in a position where we have to suspend ongoing contracts because you've got the work zone out there, you leave the traffic in a work zone with no work going on, you have contractors that are having to send their employees home, and that's not good for business, it's not good for the economy, it's not good for the traveling public.
It's hard to fault them for being fiscally responsible, which is what they're trying to do. Obviously, this all lies at the feet of Congress.
Certainly.
And years and years of inaction. And it's almost as if they're waiting for a crisis to occur before they address it, as we know is the formula for government. But we are feeling like we're pretty much at the crisis level at this point.
At a minimum, 500 jobs are lost. A longtime state contractor, Don Weaver, tells us it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Asphalt industry with no overlay program, we estimated in DC there's probably 500 direct jobs that are not going to be there this summer. Indirectly, we don't really know because the asphalt, the quarries, the dump truck haulers, so it could be a multiple of 2 or 3 times that.
Arkansas is not alone in this dilemma. Georgia, Tennessee, and Wyoming have also halted all bidding this spring. And according to AASHTO, the American Association of State Highway Officials, the total value of pulled highway projects has reached $1.3 billion. And it may not be the end.
Our next bid letting is going to be on June the 10th. And we advertise those jobs for 4 weeks. That's the early to the mid part of May when we have to make the decision whether to advertise or not. And I'm not really sure that Congress is going to do anything until that looming deadline at the end of May. So we're going to have to make the decision really here in just the next couple of weeks about how and if we're going to be able to proceed with the jobs that are scheduled for June right now. Then once you get past June, you've really passed the heart of the construction season.
Exactly.
And that's a real concern. This is the time of year where we need to have our overlay program in full swing, and we're not able to do that. This is the time of year we need to be having more lettings than any other time of the year, and we're not able to do it.
We're talking about people's livelihoods, and we're talking about people's jobs, from executive level to the guy who's shoveling asphalt out in the 100-degree heat. And when those things aren't happening, that's an impact on our state that resonates across retail, home building, everything. So yeah, from a bottom line standpoint, we don't like it.
Have contractors had to lock the doors and walk away?
We have not yet had that experience, but this is the first. We're just now entering a situation where, for the first time that I know of, that we're not going to basically have a summer paving program of any sort.
Despite numerous proposals to fix the Highway Trust Fund, Congress appears not to have an appetite for any of them. May 31st is when the present MAP 21 continuing resolution bill expires, and is the 32nd time the issue has received temporary authority. The federal DOT has told states the balance of the fund will run dry in July. A Congressional Budget Office analysis suggests 3 available options to the quandary. Impose a 10 to 15 cent gas tax hike to cover current spending, reduce budgetary resources beyond 2016, or take $16 billion from the General Revenue Fund next year, with an additional 11 to 18 billion annually in following years. Congress remains bogged down in finding a resolution to this, and it appears headed toward another kick-the-can short-term funding, number 33. Officials like Arkansas Director Scott Bennett, a 26-year veteran Arkansas DOT, says there are ways to solve this.
There are a lot of options to solve this problem. A lot of people have talked about, well, just increasing the fuel tax because fuel prices are lower. That could be a short-term solution, but it is most definitely going to be a short-term solution because with the fuel efficiency targets that have been put into place, even though people are driving more here in Arkansas, consumption is down in Arkansas. So if you raise the fuel tax, it's going to generate the most revenue in the first year of that increase, and then it's going to continue to decline. Indexing is something else that has been talked about a lot, but indexing in a lot of ways is another way to just continue raising the fuel tax. The vehicle miles traveled tax has been talked about a lot. I think that's something that has a lot of potential in the future. I know there's some privacy issues that we have to get past, but in general, that means that you're paying for the number of miles that you're driving on the highway system. That may be the fairest and most equitable way to do it. It's only going to work if it happens at the federal level and the state levels.
We got to come with what we've got here, what we brung to the dance.
What's the solution? Do you have one?
Well, Congress needs to come up with a solution. Whether it's they're talking of repatriating money. They're talking.
They've been talking about all of this
they're
stuff.
talking about no new money, so they're going to have.
And 32 times that we've talked about kicking the can.
This will be number 33rd continuing resolution.
Yes.
The last bill.
Pretty difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, we buy equipment based on the future, and so
can't do that either.
Can't do that. Can't hire people. You know, can't train people.
The problems with leadership in Congress, and short of every highway department standing in line outside of John Boehner's office and insisting on a solution, I don't know what it's going to take.
The project behind me is just one example of many across this country that needs to be done. We've got to have the money to fund all these projects and improve our infrastructure as we go forward. And the answer is out there somewhere, and our Congress needs to find it.